They laughed when I said you could own a luxury car for the price of a used Civic. But the truth? Some high-end machines are so good, even mechanics secretly love them. Cheap to buy, easy to fix, built to last. Today we are counting down 5 luxury cars that refuse to die, and you can grab one for next to nothing. Number 5, Infiniti M37 Q70. Every mechanic I've ever trusted has that one car they quietly admire, the one that rolls into the shop for an oil change, not an engine rebuild. And the Infiniti M37, later renamed Q70, is exactly that kind of machine. Built during the early 2010s, this sedan was Nissan's bold attempt to punch in the same weight class as the BMW 5 Series and Lexus GS. On paper, it should have been forgotten, but reality had other plans. Under the hood lives one of Japan's toughest engines, a 3.7-liter, naturally aspirated V6 that produces roughly 330 horsepower. No turbos, no complicated hybrid systems, just a pure mechanical heart that loves to rev and refuses to quit. It's paired with a 7-speed automatic that glides through gears with the confidence of an executive sipping espresso. Sure, the fuel economy sits around 21 miles per gallon combined, but in exchange, you get old-school reliability that makes most modern luxury sedans look fragile. Mechanics love this car because it's a luxury machine that behaves like a Nissan. Straightforward parts, predictable maintenance, and no European mystery repair that costs a paycheck. Inside, the M37 feels properly grown up. Thick leather, real stitching, and that deep, satisfying door thunk that German brands use to advertise as craftsmanship. The infotainment system looks a little ancient, and the steering can feel heavy around town, but those are small trade-offs for a sedan that can quietly cross 200,000 miles without crying for help. The golden years are between 2012 and 2014, when Infiniti had refined its electronics and the platform hit its stride. Today, you can find immaculate examples for well under $15,000, usually owned by people who still use paper service records. Start one up, and that V6 growl doesn't beg for attention, it commands respect. If you want discreet luxury that's built like a vault and ages like cast iron, this is your car. But don't get too comfortable. The next one trades quiet precision for unstoppable strength. It's an SUV mechanics secretly swear by, and it might just be the best luxury bargain on the road. Number 4, Toyota Land Cruiser. Some cars earn respect, others command it. The Toyota Land Cruiser doesn't ask for trust, it owns it. Every mechanic who's ever laid a wrench on one knows exactly what this beast is about. It's the luxury SUV that laughs at time, distance, and neglect. When you hear Land Cruiser, you're not just hearing a name, you're hearing decades of engineering that put reliability above everything else. The version most mechanics talk about is the 2008 to 2015 generation, the one that came with a 5.7-liter V8 engine. That's roughly 380 horsepower and over 400 pound-feet of torque, all delivered with the calm authority of a freight train. It's paired with a 6-speed automatic that feels built for war zones, not school runs. Fuel economy? Forget it. You'll get maybe 15 miles per gallon on a good day, but that's not why people buy these. They buy them because they simply don't die. Underneath the leather and luxury lies a frame tougher than most pickup trucks. This SUV was built to handle the deserts of the Middle East, the snowfields of Canada, and the potholes of Chicago, all in the same lifetime. Mechanics love it because it's over-engineered. Every bolt, every hose, every seal feels designed for endurance. Sure, maintenance costs can sting, oil changes aren't cheap, and those massive tires can drain a wallet. But the thing is, you'll rarely fix anything major. Inside, it's a time capsule of comfort. Real wood trim, soft touch leather, and an interior so solid it still feels expensive even a decade later. Electronics are old school but reliable. Physical buttons that click instead of touchscreens that glitch. There's a quiet confidence here, the kind only earned by machines that have already proved themselves on every continent. The best years to hunt for are 2010 through 2014, the sweet spot where modern luxury meets old school toughness. Prices vary, but a clean, well-kept Land Cruiser can now be found around $30,000 to $40,000, and that's insane when you remember these things cost north of 80 grand brand new. If you want a luxury SUV that can cross continents, towboats, survive winters, and still pull up to a valet with class, this is your ticket. Enjoying? So grab your phone, hit subscribe, and drop a comment telling me which city you're watching from. Let's grow our community. But don't think the next car plays second fiddle. It's smaller, sharper, and way faster than you'd expect from a car mechanics actually like. Number 3, Audi S4. Every once in a while, a luxury car slips under the radar. Not because it's slow or dull, but because it's too balanced, too well built to cause drama. That's the Audi S4. To the untrained eye, it looks like just another business sedan. But ask any seasoned mechanic and they'll tell you this thing is a sleeper, a wolf that doesn't need to howl. The version that earned its reputation sits between 2010 and 2016. That's when Audi stuffed a 3.0-liter supercharged V6 under the hood, a masterpiece of engineering that put out roughly 333 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque. Smooth, instant power delivery. No turbo lag, no waiting, just grip and go. Paired with either a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic, it's one of the few European performance sedans that mechanics actually enjoy working on. Now, don't get it twisted. Audi parts aren't cheap, but the S4's reliability comes from something rare in the German luxury world: consistency. This engine, known internally as the 3.0T, is one of the most durable forced induction motors Audi ever built. Mechanics will tell you it's good for 200,000 miles or more if maintained. The trick? Oil changes on time, genuine filters, and never skipping the supercharger belt service. Inside, it's classic Audi, dark leather, brushed aluminum, and the kind of fit and finish that makes even decade-old examples feel modern. The cabin still smells like quality, the steering still feels alive, and that Quattro all-wheel drive system? It's a revelation in bad weather. That's why mechanics love it. It's not just fast, it's usable. It handles rain, snow, and potholes without flinching, while delivering sports car thrills every time you step on the throttle. The sweet spot sits around the 2012 to 2015 models, the balance between updated tech and proven reliability. Prices vary wildly depending on condition, but you can score clean, well-maintained examples for under $25,000. That's pocket change for a car that once rivaled six-figure German machines. The Audi S4 is the kind of car that earns quiet respect in a shop bay. It doesn't break often, it drives like it cares, and when it does need attention, it rewards you for keeping it alive. And if you think that's impressive, wait until you meet the next one. A luxury coupe with a reputation so strong, even Toyota mechanics tip their hats to it. Number 2, Lexus SC430. There's something special about the Lexus SC430. It's one of those cars that doesn't scream for attention, it earns it with silence, precision, and timeless engineering. Every mechanic who's been around long enough to remember the early 2000s will tell you, this coupe was Lexus showing off. They built it to outlast trends, owners, and probably the dealerships themselves. When it debuted in the early 2000s, the SC430 wasn't cheap. It came with a 4.3-liter V8 that produced around 290 horsepower, smooth, buttery, and dead reliable. No turbos, no complicated hybrid system, just a naturally aspirated engine that felt like silk on the highway and granite under stress. Paired with a 5-speed automatic transmission, it wasn't meant to win drag races, it was designed to make you forget what stress feels like. Now, this car's reputation isn't built on flash, it's built on time. Mechanics adore the SC because it simply doesn't give them much work. Regular maintenance, fluid changes, maybe suspension bushings after 15 years, that's it. The engine's internals are so well engineered that many examples have rolled past 250,000 miles with nothing more than basic servicing. It's the kind of reliability that makes even German techs shake their heads in disbelief. Inside, it's pure early aughts luxury. Real wood, thick leather, and that signature Lexus quietness that makes you forget the world outside. The folding hardtop, the first of its kind in a Lexus, still works flawlessly on well-kept cars, though smart buyers always check the hydraulic lines and seals before signing the deal. The only real downsides? The rear seats are more symbolic than functional, and the infotainment looks like it came from the DVD era, because it did. But when the car itself is this good, that hardly matters. The sweet spot for ownership lies between 2004 and 2007, the last production years before Lexus moved on. You can still find stunning examples for well under $20,000, often driven sparingly by meticulous original owners. And when you press the start button, that V8 hum feels like a statement. Luxury doesn't have to be fragile. The SC430 isn't just a car, it's a reminder of when Lexus built machines to last longer than fashion. And speaking of lasting power, the next and final model is a full-size sedan that's so dependable, mechanics joke it could outlive its driver. Number 1, Hyundai Equus. If you've ever wondered what it feels like to ride in a 6-figure luxury car without paying the price, the Hyundai Equus is your answer. It's the car that tried to sneak into the country club wearing a Lexus suit, and somehow, it worked. Most people never noticed it, but mechanics did. They noticed how solid it was, how smooth that V8 felt, how the parts rarely broke. and how, years later, it quietly became one of the smartest luxury buys in America. The Equus arrived in the United States around 2011, armed with a 4.6-liter V8 engine making just under 400 horsepower, paired with an 8-speed automatic. Later versions even got a 5-liter V8. But truth be told, both engines are built from the same Hyundai DNA that earned them a reputation for stubborn reliability. They're not high-strung European motors, they're calm, deliberate, and nearly indestructible if serviced on schedule. Fuel economy hovers around 18 miles per gallon combined. Not great, not terrible, but that's not the point. The point is, this car delivers S-Class comfort for used Camry money. Inside, it's a full-on luxury experience. Rear seats recline. The steering wheel is heated. The suspension glides over broken pavement like a limousine. And everything, from the stitching to the silence, feels shockingly expensive. Mechanics love the Equus because it rarely comes in for anything major. Brakes, fluids, filters, maybe the occasional sensor, that's it. The core components, especially the transmission and engine, have proven to be nearly bulletproof. The golden years to look for are between 2013 and 2015, when Hyundai refined the electronics and tightened the suspension tuning. These models strike the perfect balance between comfort and reliability. And here's the wild part. You can now find clean, well-maintained examples for around $15,000, sometimes less. For a car that once cost north of 70 grand, that's absurd value. The Hyundai Equus is proof that you don't need a German badge to feel like a boss. It's the kind of car you buy once and keep for a decade because it gives you no reason to replace it. Mechanics know it, and the few owners who took the leap know it too. And that's the real story behind these 5 luxury machines. They're the quiet legends of the used market, the cars that mechanics secretly love because they're the rare mix of comfort, quality, and sheer mechanical honesty. So grab your phone, hit subscribe, and drop a comment telling me which city you're watching from, because next time, we're breaking down 5 luxury SUVs under 15 grand that'll make you rethink what used really means.